Welcome everyone to episode 109 of the Chris Parrish podcast. This is called New Era of Wrestling. How is everyone doing today? We are getting off the ground. We are going to talk about where we think this new era of professional wrestling with WWE, what's it going to look like? We're also going to say congratulations to Carmelo Hayes on becoming the new United States champion last night on SmackDown, or 2 days ago on SmackDown. We know it was pre-tape. We knew it all along, but visually, we saw it on Friday. So congratulations to the man who don't miss, Carmelo Hayes, becoming your new U.S. champ, as we have Chris Best coming in saying howdy. Hello, how are you doing? So let's jump right in to saying thank you to Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program for being just amazing people to work with. And if you want to check out all that, please go to turnbucklestudios.org. Let's give a big shout out to Beercade YEG, the official sponsor of the Chris Parrish podcast, located at 10544 82nd Avenue in Edmonton, Alberta. They are the home of all AEW pay-per-views and WWE PLEs. Free viewings, great food, amazing atmosphere. Go check out Beercade YEG. If you want to follow the show, make sure you're going to my link tree that's located down below. You're hitting that follow button. You're hitting that notification bell button. You're hitting subscribe. You're doing all that good stuff to all the platforms, including the Spotify. You know the Chris Parrish podcast is live, or it's not live, but it's on Spotify. And you want to go and check that out. Rate those episodes. Give them a 5-star. Why? Because Harvey D can have twins. So why can't we have 5 stars? New era of pro wrestling. What the hell does that mean? Well, I think that's what we're all looking forward to. Trying to find out what it does mean. It can mean so many things, right? It could mean a new direction. It could mean different people. As we've already seen in the last few weeks, we've been seeing Joe Hendry on our screens. We've been seeing Trick Williams in the office of Nick Aldis. We've been seeing Javon Evans getting bouncy, and he's bouncing from Raw to SmackDown. Now that he's a free agent, does the bouncing stop, or does he select a destination? We've also seen promos for Obafemi. Is he on his way up to a Raw and SmackDown? Do we get returns? It's been heavily speculated that Chris Jericho is going to make his return to WWE. It's a matter of time before we see Brock Lesnar back in a WWE ring. And we know it's been a few weeks. Roman Reigns has to come back to work too. But then I also go to, do we see debuts? There's speculation that WWE is interested in bringing in Private Party from AEW as soon as their contract expires. We've been hearing that Danhausen's contract with AEW supposedly ends in February. Is he going to go to WWE? We've been hearing Anna Jay's name. So is it just returns, debuts, new faces? Or are we going to see an actual directional change? That's kind of where I'm looking at things. We're going into this new wave of WWE without John Cena. We're going into this new wave without anybody from that Attitude Era nor that Ruthless Aggression time period at the helm. I say that because there's still Randy Orton. He's still right there. We still have some people, but they're not the main players. Cody Rhodes, you can easily have been told he is your new babyface of babyfaces going forward. He is the John Cena of this era. I think we all knew that. We all know that Roman Reigns is like your Rock. Chris Best saying, well, we know for the time being we won't see MJF in WWE anytime soon. Probably not. I don't think he wants to go to WWE anytime soon either. If he wanted to, he would have signed there when his contract went out. And congratulations to MJF on becoming the new AEW World Champion. So we take our pieces and we kind of assume, okay, we got these building blocks, but what does the actual building look like? What does the landscape now look like? We know Gunther is being groomed to be the big villain. We know Javon Evans is going to be the breakout cruiserweight-esque. Right? He's the one doing all the flying. He's doing all the flips. He's the one that you can't blink or you miss. Actually, he's kind of like a Rey Mysterio. So I think we're in that time frame with WWE where we're going to see so many different attempts of trying to find out who people are. We're going to see some attitude changes. I'm sure of that. You have to imagine that when Seth Rollins comes back, when LA Knight comes back, they're going to be pissed off. They're going to be different. I don't think Seth Rollins is going to be dancing to his theme song like there's going to be a little bit more to him when he comes back. LA Knight is going to probably have less childish jokes in his promos. Now, what do we see from a visual? I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I think we're going to get more big time feel. Do you guys remember when Bad Bunny faced Damian Priest in Puerto Rico? And that entrance felt larger than life. I have a feeling we are going to see some of these top stars in WWE feel like top stars again. And I think an entrance like that is just the tip of the iceberg. Chris Best coming saying, I got a feeling that Javon Evans will be the one doing the creative save spot in the upcoming Royal Rumble match. I think we are going to get away from rehashing past stuff. If anything, I think Javon Evans could have that holy you-know-what moment, whether that's a save, whether that's a Ricochet, Logan Paul type splash, whether it's a Paul London-esque elimination. Who knows? Or maybe Javon Evans just finds something different and innovative to do in the Royal Rumble that we're just like, really? That's the thing now? That's crazy. But when I'm talking about directional change, I like to think what we thought we knew of WWE is going to be just that. What we thought we knew. I have a feeling that we're going to get so much new coming up with WWE that it's going to really take us by surprise. Now, the big thing was as soon as Gunther and John Cena finished their match, we heard that sports entertainment tapped out to professional wrestling. Hello, Bobby Stats. How are you doing? Good to have you. Talking a little directional change with WWE. Where are they planning on going? And did pro wrestling now tap out sports entertainment, just like they said when Gunther defeated John Cena? I think it's very possible that we are going to get more pro wrestling based shows. What do I mean by that? Yes, we're going to get matches. Yes, we're going to get competitive matches. We've been getting those. But I don't know if we'll get the shticks like we did as much. I think we're going to go more to the ABCs of pro wrestling, and we're going to focus more on the character development. We're going to focus more on character understanding. Maybe not so much the gimmick per se, but we're going to find out more about why these guys and girls are doing what they're doing. Because if you're not emotionally invested in the characters, you're not going to watch the show. You're not going to watch what they do. And that's why we tune in every time it's on. Or that's why we go back to platforms and rewatch things, because we're emotionally invested in these characters and the product. Bobby video, I'm just coming in and saying I just liked your video on YouTube. And yes, people, if you want to help the Chris Parrish podcast channel on YouTube, you can do that as well. Hit that like button. It does do a lot more than you think. So the fun question, I think, really comes out is, do we compare this to something else? Because that's what we as human beings, as viewers, as fans, we're always going to do. We're going to ask, is it going to be like this? Is it going to be like that? And yeah, pro wrestling, it's in its best when it takes aspects of something and then goes a completely different way with it, right? We always were told, if you want to be somebody in wrestling, you always got to take things from other people and then make it your own. It's no different in a directional point. You take what worked in the Attitude Era. You take what worked in the Ruthless Aggression Era. You take what worked in the PG era. You put them together and you try to make a modern thing. What's going on in the world? Let's add that into our product. I think we're going to see a lot more collaborations. I think that's something that you really could expect more of. I think just by the music with Def Rebel on the exit, I don't think we're going to get just a simple generic music. I think the music in WWE is going to take a huge step forward because it's an identity of the superstar, of the performer, of the wrestler. I'm saying it that way because I think wordage, how we say things, how we're going to hear things. So maybe words that were faux pas back then might be okay now. I think it's just going to go in bunches. But when I'm talking collaborations, we're going to get a lot more of the custom themes from bands, kind of like what Rhea Ripley has, kind of like what CM Punk has. We might see that stuff more often, even though CM Punk's not a custom made for him. It's a unique song that is just different from your generic Def Rebel instrumental. What's going to be fun is we're going to get the true back into pro wrestling, which I think is always some of our best things. We're going to see the character become more organic, and we're going to see probably a lot more mistakes, but a lot more home runs because of it. Obviously, the Royal Rumble, I think, is going to be tapped to become that 2-day show. I think we're there. That's going to be a big change. Chris Best coming in saying, I'd like to see more of WWE advertising on AAA shows. Not necessarily doing stories on Raw and SmackDown, but just video packages advertising their shows. And that's where I was going to go next, actually, was the usage of all the programs are going to become more powerful, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Evolve, AAA, potentially others. WWE has 5 wrestling platforms, if you're looking at it just by show, that they own and they could use collaborations with. And that's not even using the collaboration and the working agreement between NXT and TNA. So I have a feeling we're going to get a little bit more of that. We might even see WWE tap into the Japan market. We know that they already work with Noah, but I think they're going to be more of a player. Bobby Stats coming in saying we will see WWE continue partnership with TNA in 2026. I agree. I wouldn't even be surprised if in 2026 or even early 2027, we finally find out if WWE will buy or purchase, or even TKO purchases TNA in any way. Now, I think it's really pretty much just like foregone conclusion that, this is what's going to be a thing. But what I do appreciate is just look how more profitable and better TNA has been in the last year. They reached record attendance. They've had amazing moments. And now they've produced some great talent for WWE. It's been a stomping ground and really a platform boost for a lot of wrestlers. And that's not just a WWE. I mean, we saw people go to AEW from TNA as well. We've seen Josh Alexander go to AEW. But we've been now seeing Jordynne Grace jump over to WWE, and now she is a huge part of what they're doing with the women's division in NXT. Also, could she be a name that goes to a Raw and SmackDown in the new year? We talked about Joe Hendry. He just had a program with The Miz on SmackDown. He came from TNA. But at the same time, there's been talents that are going back, but that's not here nor there. What I'm talking about is the working partnership that we're seeing. I think we're going to get more of those as the time goes. And Bobby, you were right. Leon Slater is getting showcased too very highly, might I add. In fact, Leon Slater became the first man to wrestle on a WWE televised show that featured not like an NXT, but like featured like a main WWE main roster show with Saturday Night's Main Event by wearing the TNA X Division Championship. The X Division Champion has never been on the same show with the WWE World Champions. So I thought that was kind of cool. Leon Slater definitely doing a lot for that X Division Championship in just a few months. And just in a few months, we can do a lot too. With all the amazing programming that we have here at Turnbuckle Studios. And through the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, you can check out our weekly roster with this video right here.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
Another great thing about turnbucklestudios.org, the official homepage of Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliate Program. You see that show on Tuesday, Turnbuckle Talk. Well, they're conducting a live award show coming up, and it's up to you to decide who wins these awards. And you can go to turnbucklestudios.org and you can find out how you can vote. And through there, you can actually vote on all awards. So head over to turnbucklestudios.org and you can vote for the Turnbuckle Talk Awards. That's coming up in just, I believe, I want to say it's next week. Best correct me if I'm wrong or let me know. But yeah, we are getting an award show from Turnbuckle Talk either next week or the week after. But please help them out. Vote on who you think can be the winner or you think should be the winner. And I believe, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, speaking of awards, we haven't seen the Slammies for a bit. It's been a hot minute, right? Do we think the Slammies are going to be a mainstay? Are people really caring about the Slammies? I liked the Slammies back when they were kind of looked at as their own show, not a part of a Raw or SmackDown. I'm not going to lie. I do not like the Slammies a part of a Raw or SmackDown. Which, by the way, SmackDown returns to a 3-hour format. So yes, that does affect a lot. So that's already a big change. I think SmackDown itself is going to slam you down on the action because with 3 hours, you have now more people on your show. You're going to have more stuff going on your show. So it's going to be interesting to see just how SmackDown folds or like at least unfolds every Friday now with that additional hour. So let me know if you guys just let me know in the chat who you think is going to get called up because I have a feeling maybe Javon Evans would be the only one who goes to Raw. I have a feeling the majority are going to SmackDown. And that's the Trick Williams, Anoba Femi, Joe Hendry. As even Fightful reported that it seems like Joe Hendry is going to be a permanent member of SmackDown in the next coming weeks. So we're definitely getting new faces on our programming, which means faces are going to be leaving our programming. Do we see these faces go to NXT and we see a little bit more veteran presence in NXT to help the development of the people coming up? I think so. Bobby coming in saying, I think Jordan Grace should be on Raw and be a part of their women's division. I don't hate that at all. I would love to see a Jordan Grace and Rhea Ripley match. I think that'd be fantastic. And Chris Best coming in and saying, I believe the award show is slated for January 6th. So, the day after the Raw anniversary show for Netflix, which is coming to you in just 8 days. In 9 days, you have the Turnbuckle Award show. So check that out, people. Can't miss. You don't want to miss. So make sure you vote and find out if who you're voting to wins. Isn't that the fun part? I voted. So the big question, I guess, now with, do we see visual changes? Like if we're going to put out changes that we want to see, that's one thing. We talked about, perhaps the change on just the music, the entrance theme songs for these wrestlers. Are we going to see a custom set for Raw and SmackDown? That's something I know we all would want. I don't think they're going to do it, though, because the fact that both Raw and SmackDown have basically the same set is very easy for travel and all that. So I think they're going to kind of stay there, at least, and then maybe make the major PLEs. I think we might see some custom sets for those, although keep that walkout tunnel. That thing's badass. Chris Best coming in with the question saying, did you notice on Friday how they conveniently placed the Oba video package during their Drew McIntyre segment? I did. I did for sure, because if people don't remember about their interaction at Saturday night's main event, it was Oba Femi who had his match with Cody Rhodes interrupted by Drew McIntyre, and then also pushed Drew McIntyre on his keister. Bobby Cummins saying interested to see what WWE does with Carmelo Hayes as United States champion going into 2026. Well, as we already saw, it looks like his first opponent could be none other than Johnny Gargano, as we saw a backstage interaction between those two. Or could we even see a Carmelo Hayes teaming up with Ilya once again to go after DIY? I'll say this, I wouldn't even hate a fatal four-way. But now that Trick Williams is on that, kind of in that picture, it'll be interesting if we see him on Raw on Monday, or if he is just interested with SmackDown, because it would be conveniently also noteworthy if Trick Williams only appears in the office of Nick Aldis and not Adam Pearce. I think we have a very good idea of where he's going to go. As I even had Trick Williams and Cody Rhodes with an altercation, an interaction more so. So that was intriguing. Thought that made Trick Williams stand out a lot by just having his first interaction with any current star on the show be just your world champion, your undisputed champion. By the way, can we drop the undisputed champion name and just refer to Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion? I know it's just like a minor tweak, but if they were ever to do something like combining titles again, how do you combine something to an undisputed championship? That's what it should have been called if they were going to do it. So I think you got to take the undisputed word out of that. Speaking of the championships, do we see any title redesigns? I know we just kind of got new tag team titles. So I don't think the tag titles are going to get any redesign. Could we see a new design for the Intercontinental Championship or United States Championships, though? I think it's very possible that we could see new title designs for the mid-card championships. I wouldn't be opposed to a new United States Championship design. So it'll be very intriguing to see kind of that next 12 months with WWE, as we only have a few days left of 2025. And we know now there is one more Raw and no more SmackDowns of 2025. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how WWE closes out the year We all know that they have that big show on January 5th with pretty much everything going on with CM Punk and Braun Breaker, Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch. And that's just naming a couple matches. You know we're going to see some big-time returns. We're going to see some, perhaps, debuts. Could we see Chris Jericho come down? And yes, we do have one more NXT as well. So it'll be very intriguing kind of to see what WWE does. Do we see kind of a closure for 2025, or do we really set the standard for 2026 with tomorrow's Raw and Tuesday's NXT? If there was a big change you would love to see WWE make, let me know in the comments, because I think this is the perfect time that we can talk about it. Why? Because the unknown is what's going on. We don't even know if there are going to be major changes. But if we're getting told that there's a new era going on within WWE, don't you expect some big changes? I mean, a new era and you don't really do anything? That doesn't seem like a new era to me. It has to be more than just the people. So that's why I beg the question. What big change are we going to see? We know the Royal Rumble for the first time is going to be in Saudi Arabia. We know that. We know WWE is going back to Puerto Rico for Backlash. We know that. We know that WWE is going to go to Italy for a PLE. We're going to see that. There has to be more than just what they've been doing, and that's taking their shows internationally for some of the major PLEs. Bobby wants to see the Creed brothers more in 2026, and I think we're going to see that. I think the tag team division, is going to be showcased a lot more, which is what we've been seeing, especially on the women's side. Now there's some depth on the women's tag team division with Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Last Legend, Nia Jax, the Kabuki Warriors, Rhea Neo. And that's not even talking about Judgment Day. And then there's Alba Fire and Chelsea Green. And there could be Julia and Kiana James. There's a lot of pairings. Who knows if we'll see maybe Fatal Influence come up? Who knows if Sol Ruka and Zarya come up? These are just more pairings that can come up and showcase the tag team championships. Also, I do like to say, I was correct with predicting 2 title changes before the end of the year, because it was before John Cena lost the title back to Dominic Mysterio, and then we saw Carmelo Hayes win the United States Championship. I just thought we would have saw that tag team title switch, which you have to think is upcoming on the Raw side. I do think we're going to see new Raw tag champions within the next month or so, because I do think we are going to go forward with an AJ Styles Gunther match at some point, whether it is at the Rumble or whether we see some through the Rumble. I think that's something that we will see a little bit. We are getting multiple weeks now of it being teased, so it wouldn't shock me to see kind of maybe even Gunther like screw AJ Styles and Dragon Lee over in those for those tag team titles. If by chance you made an error and didn't get your shopping done before Christmas, or maybe you want to make up for it, or maybe you even got money and you want to spend it on something, you can go check out carlcarafel.redbubble.com and you can slap our logos on something and help support the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. If you want your very own Chris Parrish podcast, t-shirt, hat, phone case, whatever. carlcarafel.redbubble is the place to be. So if you want more visual understanding of carlcarafel.redbubble, here you go.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
I'm not going to lie. If you guys buy anything with my logo on it, send me a picture and I will make sure not only to follow every single thing that you guys have on social media, but I'll also plug it on the show. So if you buy anything Chris Parrish podcast related from carlcarafel.redbubble, you will get a free plug on an upcoming Chris Parrish podcast episode. Also, I've been looking, and if you want the direct link to go and vote for the award show for Turnbuckle Talk, go to turnbucklestudios.org/awards. That is the direct link. If by chance you guys are into football too, by the way, good luck, because this and next week will be the fantasy football finals for you guys. So I wish you all well. I know it's a fun and busy week for that. So I know it's going to be a little stressful. So I want everyone to know that I'm hoping you don't make any silly moves. Just like I'm hoping WWE doesn't make any silly moves. Because if we're talking about a new era, I just really hope it's something that the majority of us not only appreciate, like, but also want to grow up our next 20 years of our life, grow up the next phase of lives, whether it's kids, whether it's the youth. Don't we want pro wrestling to be cool for not only us, but the next generation as well? Just like we're going to get with these, whether it's call-ups. I know the one big change I would love to see WWE do. I would love WWE to give us a modern update on a lot of things, whether it's nostalgic. Like, I'll take Saturday Night's Main Event, for example. I think it's fantastic. It's a show again that they're doing. But I would love to see it updated and modernized just a little bit. Keep what made it special, but we all know we're not watching Saturday Night's Main Event like we did from the 80s or early 90s. We're watching it completely different now. One, it's on YouTube for most people. And if not, it's on cable television for a select few. And even then, it's probably not going to be on cable television that much longer. So give it a modern spin. I'm not saying change everything up, but maybe don't keep it from the 1980s. At some point, you gotta make it feel new again, right? And that's just an example. I think nostalgia is awesome, but I also think if you're going to overdo nostalgia, it gets a little bit boring. So that's one thing. Bobby's saying, I always enjoy watching your videos. Well, I appreciate that, Bobby. I enjoy making these videos for people who enjoy them. So it's why we do what we do. I will also going to be letting everyone know that I will be also updating the visual presentation of the Chris Parrish podcast. That's right. You know those thumbnails with that like gold? I'm going to be switching that out. I'm not going to make gold the primary anymore. I'm going to kind of change up that. So look for it in the upcoming months and upcoming weeks here. More so weeks than months. But so just like WWE, I think it's very, very fitting that we always look to improve. But if we're going to just selectively choose WWE, which I've been doing pretty much all show, I think the one thing I think is very important for WWE to do, and that is connect all your shows with the storylines that you have. Now, we've been seeing that as of late, but I think that's going to be the big one. I think if person A defeats person B at a WrestleMania or SummerSlam, I think that's going to hold a lot more weight moving forward. I think these throwaway rematches are not going to be there. We've seen Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns twice. Those matches mean something because the times we get them, there's been build-up, and it's only been at WrestleMania. We all remember when we saw Rock and Hogan, and they tried giving us that again. It just didn't live up because, it was quick, but it was on a show that WWE just tried to make it big. It didn't have that big feel. They didn't wait till a SummerSlam. They didn't wait till a Survivor Series. They didn't wait till one of their perceived bigger shows. So I kind of want to see stuff like that again. If we have the opportunity to do AJ Styles and CM Punk, do it on a big time platform, because those two men who have never faced each other in WWE, by the way, those two men deserve to have their first match together on a big platform, like a WrestleMania, like a SummerSlam, or in front of 80,000 people if you're doing it internationally. So those are kind of some things I would like to see. If you're going to do some big time matches with the women, do the same thing. And if by chance they need some additional support, I know a place they can always go to, and that is Turnbuckle Studios. Why? Because just like them, we want help. Let me show you.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
As we have Bobby Stats doing what Bobby Stats does, and that is help out his peeps, asking you to subscribe to Chris Parrish on YouTube, which I appreciate. Thank you. I would love everyone to understand that if you have any favorite podcasters or content creators, you should do everything you can to help them out. Big, small, why? Because you just never know. You never know when the next video is going to be the one that helps them out and makes them go to a different status. Or you just never know what that next thing is that just helps. So if you know anybody and then you can support them, please do so. It means so much, and it goes such a long way. If I'm going to predict one major shift that I do think WWE will do. I think CM Punk gets a night 2 main event at WrestleMania. I think CM Punk will, and I'm at the belief that you can main event, or you cannot main event night 1. Because to me, the main event is the last match of the show. And night 1 of WrestleMania, whatever the last match is on night 1, it's not the last match of WrestleMania. So in my eyes, CM Punk still needs that night 2 main event. That's the one I think. However, I think it's going to be against someone that we know is going to be the next big deal in WWE. I think the big thing we're going to see in 2026, outside of maybe a couple achievements, we're going to see the top end draws that are older feud with the top draws for the next years. So it's going to be very intriguing to see how guys like CM Punk, AJ Styles, even Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, how they help that new cast of maybe Ilya Dragunov, Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, maybe even Logan Paul, maybe even Javon Evans. So I think we are looking at a culture change, but also very much a new way of out with the old, in with the new. I think that is going to be the theme of 2026 with WWE. And it'll be very intriguing to how they tell us their version of what that means. I think I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to let everybody know that episode 109 was pretty fun. But episode 110, I think, is going to be an absolute fun show. It's going to be the first Chris Parrish podcast of 2026, so you do not want to miss it. You want to know what I'm calling the show, how it's going to be? Well, I'm going, start your engines. If people want to know an inside detail, my nickname in high school was 110, and that's because I had a different gear than everyone else. When it came to more energy, I was always ready to go. And that's exactly how I want to kick off 2026. So with episode 110, start your engines, because we're on a fast track pace to having a lot more fun on this show. We are going to go in different waves moving forward, and it's going to be a hell of a time. So with episode 110, we are starting our engines, and I don't plan on finishing that race second. So let's kick some serious ass in 2026. But for now, we can't get to next week without enjoying today. So today has been episode 109. And that is a new era of wrestling. A fun time just to talk what we think it could be the next time for WWE. But also a great way to say goodbye to 2025. I would like to wish everybody a happy New Year's. I want to wish everyone, I hope you enjoyed your 2025. I hope you're looking forward to 2026. We saw some amazing memories in 2025, whether it was the rise of Jey Uso as a singles competitor, whether it was the purchase of AAA, whether we saw Joe Hendry go from TNA to WWE, or whether or not we saw John Cena one last time. We saw a filled moments. We even saw AJ Lee return in 2025, people. Like, holy you know what. Let's hope 2026 absolutely slams us to a completely new light, because 2025 I thought was pretty dang good. So once again, this has been episode 109 of the Chris Parrish Podcast, New Era of Wrestling. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Sunday, the rest of 2025. But more important, be you. Be happy. Be grateful. Because we all know, at the end of the day, you matter. I'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Rip through the crowds, fast to catch us from falling close to the ground. Perish or try to